Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here, your source for gaming, tech, emulation, and open source news. Let's get started. Alright, to kick things off, we're talking about some news that I think a lot of people are going to be talking about, and that is Sony shutting down Neon Koi and also Firewalk Studios. For those who may be unaware, Neon Koi was a mobile developer. And well, Firewalk Studios, they were behind Concord. So I quickly want to cover Neon Koi. Now, Neon Koi was purchased back on August 29th, 2022. At least that's when Sony announced it. And Sony says here in a blog post, welcoming Savage Game Studios. Savage Game Studios was then rebranded to Neon Koi and then shut down a couple of years later. So here is part of the statement from Sony Interactive. While mobile remains a priority growth area for the studio business, we are in the very early stage of our mobile efforts. To achieve success in this area, we need to concentrate on titles that are in line with PlayStation Studios' pedigree and have the potential to reach more players globally. With this refocused approach, Neon Koi will close, and its mobile action game will not be moving forward. Based on this snippet, I'm taking away a couple of things here. One, first and foremost, it appears that Neon Koi's game did not live up to PlayStation Studios' pedigree. Maybe it wasn't a good game, maybe it wasn't progressing very well, and PlayStation appears to have just thought it'd be easier to cut ties and shut down the studio and move forward. Secondly here, they say mobile remains a priority growth area. I don't necessarily know about that one because whoever's behind their mobile department, they purchased a company here and basically ran it into the ground. That is not really priority in my opinion. However, it is worth pointing out here that Neon Koi and formerly Savage Game Studios has never produced a single game, at least from my understanding. So that does kind of say quite a bit. PlayStation purchased this studio and they'd never produced anything. So I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was just dead from the get-go and they weren't able to achieve what they even wanted to in the first place. Or if things were going good and then Sony just realized that they weren't just good enough. Who knows here? If you know more, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Now, the second part of Sony's announcement, obviously the bigger part here is in regards to Concord and Firewalk Studios. So Concord, we don't need to go into that. The game did not succeed, it didn't do well, and Sony unreleased the game. Anyways, it seems that Concord is officially dead and we're not going to be seeing it in any format moving forward. Some people were expecting this game to possibly go free to play. Some people were saying it was going to get revamped and then re-released, and a lot of people, like myself included, didn't know what Sony was going to do with it. But it seems that, well, things are just done. So Sony says, after much thought, we have determined the best path forward is to permanently sunset the game and close the studio. So unlike Neon Koi, Firewalk did produce a game. I think Concord was their only game here, and it's being reported that they spent $200 million thereabouts on the game. Unfortunately, I don't know the intimate details on how much Sony actually spent on Concord. Kotaku is reporting that the initial development deal for the game was just over $200 million. Some people are speculating that Sony spent over $400 million or around $400 million over the course of the game. I don't know here, but at the same time, it's a huge leap from $200 to $400 million. But at the same time, again, sometimes games are a lot more expensive to build than people think. So this, along with everything I talk about in this video, links will be in the description below right at the bottom. Do me a favor, read the update and let me know your thoughts on the entire matter. Let me know your thoughts about Neon Koi. Let me know your thoughts about Firewalk and Concord. And let me know if shutting down the studio and just canceling the game was the right decision moving forward for Sony. And on a quick side note here, I could be wrong about this one, but I'm assuming that physical copies of Concord may be collector's items moving forward. The game didn't sell that well. They didn't sell many copies. I think they pulled this off the shelves now. And although the game is unplayable, at the same time, people may want this piece of history. Maybe not, who knows? And speaking about things shutting down, next up we're talking about Lime3DS, which is a continuation of the Citra project. The other day we talked about Pablo MK7's fork of Citra shutting down and Lime3DS being one of the only forks left alive. Well, Lime3DS has officially been cancelled. Now, this news isn't necessarily doom and gloom. This is taken right from the Lime3DS Discord. Hello everyone, I have some exciting news to share about the future of the project. You may have seen on Twitter that Pablo MK7 recently posted about the discontinuation of his Citra fork in favor of a new project. I am happy to announce that this new project won't be a solo endeavor, as this new Citra fork is a collaborative effort between both Lime3DS and Pablo MK7's fork to create a new unified project. No longer will development be fragmented between these forks, and instead all progress will be made in a single coordinated effort. So yes, Lime3DS is shutting down, but at the same time here it just seems that this may be a better option for the projects moving forward. Let's see what happens. They say further details of this new project will be shared in the coming weeks, and we hope you look forward to learning more about it. Well, I certainly am. Now, the Lime3DS team did clarify a couple of things. One, the Lime3DS Discord server will not be discontinued. It will be repurposed for the new project, so if you wanted to be on the cutting edge of information, their Discord server is probably where it's at. Or you can just watch my YouTube videos for whenever news comes out. And the second thing here, the old Play Store listing. Old is an interesting word considering it just released on the Play Store. Anyways, their Play Store listing will be replaced by the new project, and existing users will be able to move to the new project via an app update, and that's a very nice decision. Now, I think it's safe to say that moving forward, whatever happens between these two projects will be the definitive Citra fork. And in terms of 3DS emulation, the definitive 3DS emulators out there right now are, well, whatever the future of this project is going to be, and also Panda 3DS. Moving on, and we're talking about Capcom. And now this is a very interesting statistic for those of you saying that console gaming is the way of the future and PC gaming is not. It seems like the opposite for Capcom. Capcom has sold more units on PC in the first half of fiscal year 25 than on Nintendo Switch, PlayStation, and Xbox combined. So you combine all of the sales on Nintendo Switch, Xbox, and PlayStation, and PC is still outselling that. That is crazy. Now, I could be wrong here, but it does seem that Monster Hunter is the real driver of Capcom's financials and how well the company does. If Monster Hunter doesn't do well, I would say that Capcom doesn't do well. And it is worth pointing out that overall, year over year, game sales seem to be down. So if we take a look at Capcom's financial report, we can see that consolidated net sales were down 24.7% year over year. Operating income was down 38.7% year over year. Ordinary income was down 42.7% year over year. And net income was down 39.6% year over year. I think they're expecting Monster Hunter to really pick up those numbers, and at the same time here, I would argue across the games industry, this isn't too far out of the ordinary for 2023-2024. So hopefully for Capcom's sake, Monster Hunter Wilds, when it releases on February 25th, 2025, does really well. Let me know your thoughts about all of this in the comments below, and feel free to read up on the details of the financials if you're into that stuff. Next up here, I've got a quick update to something we talked about the other day, and that was Sega's 60th anniversary website and the free copy of Nights into Dreams. A lot of people were saying they were having issues redeeming the game. I mean, this is from a few years ago, but at the same time here, the site is still active, and I think you can still get the game. So when redeeming the game, people are saying that all you have to do is change localhost 3000 to https www.sega60th.com, and it should work. People are saying even on October 2024, this solution still works, and still works as of October 28th, which is yesterday. Next up here, we're talking about the upcoming controversial FPGA called the SUPERSEGA. And the SUPERSEGA is just getting a brand new design here for the chassis. It's been posted over on YouTube. So over on timeextension.com, they do have a statement from the company. They say they're closing in on 200 pre-reserves. There's going to be 300 units shipped in the first batch in early 2025. And they're also going to be launching a crowdfunding campaign by end of November. I'm very curious about this one. I am very cautious about this one based on what I've seen here. I mean, there's been a lot of criticism over the whole project, over the PCB, and even on the video showcasing what this project can do. Now, for full transparency, and to be honest with you, I have my serious doubts about this project. Do I think it's real? Not really. I mean, based on what I've seen, I've got way more questions than answers. Hopefully it does turn out to be real, and hopefully it turns out to be a good product. But at the end of the day here, I am highly skeptical based on what I've seen and based on what everybody else is saying here. And taking a look, another thing I'm very confused about is the use of the name. Will I be paying attention to the crowdfunding campaign? Absolutely yes. But at the same time here, I mean, these guys are using Sega in their name. I don't necessarily think Sega would be a fan of that. This is not a Sega sanctioned product. I have no idea what's going on here, but at the end of the day, I think people are at risk of losing money. Again, I could be wrong. Let me know your thoughts. Next up, we're talking about Ubisoft, and if you're a fan of crypto and NFTs and blockchain stuff, you may be a fan of this game here. It's called Champions Tactics, and Ubisoft has just launched this one on PC. Now, based on my understanding, Champions Tactics Xenoblade Chronicles is a free-to-play game where you can buy NFTs, which are figurines, and then you can battle those figurines out to see who's best. These figurines can be purchased over on Champions Tactics website, and taking a look, these figurines are not cheap. This one here is going for $63,863. Now, obviously, they have cheaper ones available, but I'm very curious about this one. I'm curious to see who spends tens of thousands of dollars on NFTs nowadays. I thought NFTs have kind of gone the way of the dodo. I could be wrong about that. But I'm wondering if this game was in development during the heyday of NFTs, and then they just kept going on with development and decided to release the game anyway, even though, in my opinion, NFTs have kind of been devalued. Let me know your thoughts about this game moving forward, and let me know if you think this game is going to be successful and if it's interesting to you. It's not to me, but at the same time, I may not be the proper player for a game like this. Next up, we're quickly talking about Tuxedo, and Tuxedo has just released Tuxedo OS 4, which is based on Ubuntu 24.04 LTS, as well as featuring a Linux kernel 6.11. Now, Tuxedo OS 4 is no longer going to be called Tuxedo OS 4. It's just going to be called Tuxedo OS. They're going away with their numbering system. Now, for those wondering about this change, Tuxedo says, over time, we started to question the purpose of version numbers in Tuxedo OS and what criteria we should base them on. Tuxedo OS uses a hybrid release model that combines elements of rolling endpoint releases. So that makes sense to me, considering it's always updating. And speaking about numbered releases, next up we're quickly talking about Fedora. And Fedora has just released Fedora Linux 41. So if you are using Fedora, you may want to check out Fedora 41 here. There's a whole bunch of changes, a whole bunch of updates, a whole bunch of fixes. And there's now the ability to install NVIDIA drivers via Secure Boot. Next up, we're talking about Nintendo, and Nintendo had a game reveal the other day that resulted in quite a bit of chatter and a lot of rumor. Anyways, they unveiled Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition. This game is launching on March 20th, 2025. And a lot of people are speculating that this is going to be a Switch 2 title, and the Switch 2 is launching on March 20th. Now, I'm not too sure about that launch date, and I'm not going to hold my breath here for the Switch 2, but at the same time, I think it's really nice to see Xenoblade Chronicles X on the Switch. I mean, it was a Wii U exclusive. A lot of people really like this on the Wii U, but the Wii U flopped, and now this game is going to be more accessible to more people. I mean, it's not a bad game. But let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments below, and also about the whole rumors here. I mean, one of the other rumors is that there's going to be a definitive edition of Elden Ring headed to the Switch in 2025 or 2026, which would mean probably the Switch 2. Who knows here, those are just rumors. I mean, you could start a whole bunch of rumors based on the rumored power of the Switch 2 on what games might be headed to it. And speaking about game releases, next up we're talking about Red Dead Redemption, which after a whole bunch of years has finally officially launched on PC. Right now on Steam it is up for sale. You can pick it up and you can play it. It's got a very positive review score with over 1,000 reviews currently. And I'm assuming there's going to be a whole bunch of people buying this game and playing it. But I did notice something interesting, and a lot of people have noticed it. The price of this game is higher than people have expected. I mean, right now in Canada, it's about $70. I think it's about $50 in the US, which puts the price of the game above Red Dead Redemption 2 right now, which is currently on sale for cheaper than Red Dead Redemption 1. However, it is worth pointing out here that if I take a look at Red Dead Redemption 2 on PC and take a look at the standard price, the price of the game not on sale, it's more expensive than Red Dead 1. So Red Dead 1 is $70 in Canada, Red Dead 2 is $80 in Canada. So I'm assuming 50 and 55 in the States. I could be wrong about that. But looking at this overall, I'm just assuming that Rockstar is trying to capitalize on the hype of Red Dead 1 by offering Red Dead 2 on sale to make it more attractive. Let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments below, and if you plan on playing it on PC via Steam, or if you plan on playing this game on Android via something like Winlator, let me know in the comments below. Someone's already got this game up and running in Winlator here, and it does seem to be running very well. The frame rates are bouncing all over, but they're above 20 and above 30 in some cases, and it seems relatively smooth. There is some flickering too. but I think this is very impressive overall. Next up is a heads up here if you use MX Player. It turns out that Amazon has purchased MX Player. They took down the Pro version and they've limited MX Player TV streaming to India only. Now, if I'm not mistaken, the acquisition for MX Player happened a while back and MX Player Pro was taken off Google Play a few months back. If you have previously purchased it, you can go into your Google Play purchase history and I think re-download the Pro version. I don't think development is going to continue on for the Pro version here, and well, the MX Player I think is going to change as well. I think things are going to change for this player moving forward. If you used to use this and now you use something else, let us know what you use in the comments below. I used to use MX back in the day because it could play certain files that others couldn't, and now taking a look, I usually just use VLC. Next up, we're talking about a brand new gaming handheld that was just unveiled, the ONEXFLY F1 Pro. This one notably features a 7-inch OLED display with a 144Hz refresh rate. Unfortunately, I don't know the release date or the price or the specifics of what's under the hood of this thing, but people are commenting that they're hoping it's going to have a big battery. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and no fluff. We talked about a bunch today. Let me know your thoughts about absolutely any of it in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos. Don't tempt fate, save your state.